Hi guys. Trying to see what comes up on my computer. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Nothing worse than signing on to a computer that isn't correct. And hopefully I'm signed in. Okay. Hi Nature Fan. How was your birthday? Hey D-Man. Oh my gosh. Nice. Nice. Yesterday was brutal. I went to the dentist. It was anything but good. I found out that I've been a really bad boy and have a lot more dental work that needs to be done than I thought needed to be done. And I was just overwhelmed. And a little bit depressed, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I still am. Anyway, that's beside the point. I need to get set up. Let's see. How's everybody doing? I don't hurt. It's what's showing up on X-ray. And from the dentist actually physically being in my mouth. So yeah, I know. I'm not in good shape. I've known that for a while. But I think, like many people, the dentist is not something that I want to experience. And you haven't missed anything. I just don't really want to go through what he's telling me that I need to go through. And don't get me wrong, I like my dentist. So far. And I'm on board with most of what he wants to do. I'm not liking it. Not at all. There was supposed to be more choices for you up there than there is. Did it freeze? No. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess it's time to start. Hi everyone, welcome. I am Nature Guy X46, and this is the Natureverse 4.7. And today we are looking at two bees. Where is? Hold on a second. Ugh. Okay, I'm back. I'm Nature Guy X46, and this is the Natureverse 4.7. And today we're looking at two bees that, if you didn't get a real good glimpse, you would think they are one and the same. So let's get into the topic. I had to go outside very briefly, and I knew I had lots of work to do for the channel, so I didn't bother taking off my coat. When I came back inside, and I went straight to work. So our topic today are the bumblebees and the carpenter bees, and let's just get into it. Bumblebees belong to the genus Bombus, which seems to have most of their species within the northern hemisphere. North America is home to somewhere around 50-ish species in the UK, home to 24. I did learn something from today, though, and I'll tell you what that is when we come to it. Bumblebees are a fairly common bee, and they're an important native pollinator. Queens emerge from underground, having slept through the winter, and instantly begin looking for a nesting site. Now, usually these nesting sites are going to be old mouse burrows or rodent burrows. That's true. They are getting harder to find. Sadly, some of them are endangered. Some of them have actually gone extinct. But once the female has emerged and she's found a nest site, she will begin building the nest. Keep in mind, she is already mated. So, queens will emerge early, usually possibly in February. She will begin visiting flowers, making her nest, and begin laying eggs. She will already be gravid. That means pregnant with eggs, whatever. She, along with her bumblebee cousins, can generate heat using their flight muscles. They can begin. Oh, wait. Getting ahead of myself. This allows them to speed up development of the workers or the eggs that will become workers. Now, bumblebees do not store a whole lot of honey in their nest. She'll produce a few generations of workers during the summer. That final generation is going to be queens, males, which will mate with the new queen or queens. In late fall, almost all of the bumblebees in the nest will be dead. Except, no, not really, just males who are perfectly capable of impregnating the next queen. There will be a skeleton crew of workers, the new queens, and males. Now, keep in mind, I want to make this very, very clear that come winter, everybody in that hive, everybody in that nest, except for the new queens, are going to be dead. The queens will hibernate somewhere. There are at least 2 species who have gone extinct in the United States. And I need to look up, I don't have a number for how many are actually, I think so. There are actually a lot of bumblebees out there, but there is one group that's actually pretty fascinating. They're called cuckoo bumblebees. And this is a group I've never heard of before until today. So these guys do not have a workers' caste. You're either a male or a female. And they have nobody other than themselves to gather nectar or pollen. They, like I said, like I previously just said, they do not collect pollen or build their own nest. What they do, however, is they will invade a nest of another species, kill the resident queen, and then take over the nest. literally forcing the workers to raise their young. So I don't know. I'm sort of assuming that they destroy the eggs of the. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe not. I was going to say they destroy the eggs of the young, but I don't think that's true. However, there are two forms of bumblebees, long-tongued and short-tongued. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Bumblebees are affected by pesticides, habitat loss, climate change, and disease. Another super important fact is that they have a smooth stinger, unlike honeybees who have a barbed stinger. So, where is my bee? Excuse me for 1 second. I need to reach something if I can. And then I'm going to reach if I can. There we go. See if I can find it. Probably not. It's probably buried, as is usually the case. I can't find it, which is par the course. Okay, anyway, honeybees, they do make honey. Some. They may make honey, but I don't think it's a lot. Hold on. They do. So, how? Okay, so bumblebees, when they sting you, they leave their stinger in you, and then they pull away. When they pull away, it pulls everything out with them, and they basically end up dying. However, a bumblebee is not like that. They can sting repeatedly, multiple times. They do produce a form of honey, but it is not going to be the amount of honey that a honeybee would make. They're not going to be sustaining a colony through the winter, so there's no need for them to produce lots of honey. So, this is your classic honeybee. They're fuzzy all over. There's no bald spots. They have the pollen baskets. Okay? And typically, not always, but typically they're yellow and black. But not always. Now, with that out of the way, are there questions? Yes. And honeybees or bumblebees, little bit more toxic perhaps than the honeybee. Not sure on that. I've read they actually have a component that can attack the heart a little bit. Let's see what it says about bumblebee venom. Okay, no. Bumblebees bumblebee venom has a slightly different composition. No. Honeybees can only sting once. Bumblebees tend to be a little bit more chill, that is true. No. Wasp sting. Hornets sting. I'm pretty sure all wasp. Now, not all. When I say this, I'm speaking. There's probably going to be rules that are forsaken by some species, but bumblebees, carpenter bees, a few other native species of bees can sting repeatedly. Yellow jackets, hornets, wasp. Unless it's a form that doesn't sting, most wasp, bumblebees, carpenter bees are gonna sting. Now, let's talk carpenter bees. So, carpenter bees, even though it's really hard to tell by this picture, carpenter bees are the largest native bees in the United States. And there are numerous species of them. And they can be found across southern United States from Arizona to Florida, into the eastern United States, north to New York. And yes, my state of Indiana has carpenter bees. Like their human namesakes, carpenter bees work in wood. And they have very powerful mandibles that allow them to chew into wood. A female can chew into wood. I don't know about the males. I'm guessing the males do. They're not going to use decaying wood, dead wood, but not to the point where it's all decayed. She's going to produce a tunnel in which she will lay her eggs. But when she lays her eggs, I know I have up until a few years ago, she will divide up that petition. And then each petition will hold a little bit of nectar, pollen, honey, maybe, and she will lay her eggs into each one of those petitions. God bless you as well. Be the light of Jesus. Do not. You're welcome to stay in my live. This is not a place to proselytize. We're not here to educate people on Jesus. As much as I'm a Christian, as much as I love Jesus, we're not doing that in this channel. Just a warning. Each petition will hold one egg. And the petition walls that separate each tunnel or each petition are made up of sawdust and her saliva. And what amazes me is these guys just don't last for a year and then die. They actually can live for up to 3 years, which is crazy. They have a very, unlike most bees or most wasps, there aren't workers in this particular group of bees. You're either a strictly male or you're strictly female. There are 1 or 2 generations per year. And if a flower is too big for them to reach into the nectar, the bees will actually bite a section of the flower that's close to where the nectar is made, and then they will feed. We call that stealing the nectar. Now, one thing that happens when they steal the nectar, and bumblebees, certain bumblebees will do this too, is they bypass the pollen, which doesn't do the plants any good. No, what it means is that all of the females lay eggs. There aren't queens, necessarily. There is some evidence to say that daughters may stick around, but basically going to be, there aren't necessarily queens in this group. So let's talk a little bit about carpenter bees and their differences. So the first thing about carpenter bees, if you're buffering, let me see if I am. No, I have no buffering between my Chromebook and my computer. No sound. Nature fan, you may want to exit out. So a couple things. This is a carpenter bee. Carpenter bees basically do not have hairs past the thorax. Yeah, honeybees are the only ones I know of that came from Europe. I'm not saying that maybe it's not possible that they brought others with them, but bumblebees are the ones that I know of for sure. The abdomen on a carpenter bee is black and no hairs. So as you can see, this guy has, it's really hard to see, but he's furry all over. A carpenter bee will not have hair on the abdomen, and it will be shiny. It'll almost look like leather, but not quite. Male carpenter bees cannot sting. Male carpenter bees cannot sting. I don't even know if male honeybees can sting. Hold on. Male bumblebees do not sting. How you can tell a male bumblebee, at least according to AI, is they have larger eyes, longer antenna, a yellowish to whitish face. Now, this is going to vary. This is going to vary. The good news is bumblebees and carpenter bees really aren't going to sting a heck of a whole lot. Now, that being said, if you step on the nest, which can happen because bumblebees nest in the ground, you're going to get stung. If you pick up a honeybee, or not a honeybee, but a bumblebee, or you grab a bumblebee, or you swat at a bumblebee, you're going to get stung. They're going to sting in defense, just like a carpenter bee. They're largely going to leave you alone if you leave them alone. They're not like a wasp where they can be aggressive. No, these guys are purely defensive. So leave their nest alone. Don't pick them up. Leave them alone. So, fun fact, stingers, and I'm going to use my bumblebee again. Female bees and wasp and hornets have a stinger, right? That is a female ovipositor, which means that is a modified egg-laying organ. You probably wouldn't, but you never know. So, carpenter bees also have a smooth stinger. They can sting repeatedly. Now, carpenter bees tend to have a rapid, erratic, and even zigzag flight. They're sort of going to be all over the place. Where males are said to have a white face, while females are said to have a black face. Any questions? Sorry. NZ questions. They might. They might. But you know what? Stuff happens. I got stung by a bumblebee. And let me tell you, it hurts. I think it hurts way more than a honeybee. Now, maybe that's because I got stung more than once. I don't know. But it wasn't fun. Not a heck of a whole lot, to be honest. Only dummy 06. Carpenter bees tend to nest in dead wood. So that could mean, like if you have a garage, which we do, they might nest in the wood that makes up your garage. If it's thick enough. They might nest in the post of your mailbox. If it's made out of wood. They will nest in dead trees. The nest is going to be big enough for them. The entrance is going to be big enough to enter. It'll be a round hole. Yeah, I would say I'm a slightly phobic when it comes to bees and wasps, but I'm getting better. I am getting better. I can stand and take pictures of them. But I will say my blood pressure goes up just a little bit when I'm around them. And probably my heart rate too. Which, by the way, I saw my heart rate or my blood pressure. I saw the results yesterday. I definitely have white coat syndrome. Yep. And even though my dentist is the nicest guy, let me tell you, yesterday was at times painful. I don't know how many times he sort of jabbed. And I wanted to shut my mouth to keep him from jabbing. But he would only end up getting bit. And I don't want to bite my dentist. That just seems really unpleasant and really unfortunate. The only thing that's more unfortunate than being jabbed by the dentist is being jabbed by the dentist when it comes to money. Anyway, that was our deep dive into carpenter bees and bumblebees. I hope you found it fun and interesting. I do have announcements, so don't leave. And don't leave anyway because we have time. So tonight, I don't know why I didn't have this planned. But we are doing blue-winged wasp and cicada killer wasp. Friday, we are doing weather. We're going to be talking about blizzards and hail. And then later that night, we're going to do mythology and cryptids. We are doing owls, and so we'll be looking at the mythology of owls from many different cultures. And then the 28th, we are doing our monthly roundup and a science lab. It's a wasp. They don't, instead of making their nest, so there are a lot of different types of wasp. There are primarily paper wasp, which makes their nest out of wood that is chewed up. So think of a yellow jacket, think of a hornet, a bald-faced hornet, or think of a paper wasp. They all make their nest out of paper, chewed up wood pulp. Mud daubers and other solitary wasp use different materials. So a mud dauber is a solitary wasp, makes their nest out of mud and saliva or mud. The blue-winged wasp and the cicada killer wasp are solitary wasp, and we'll talk about them later tonight. The 28th, we're going to be doing a home science lab. We're going to be doing some type of experiment. How do they not suffocate? What do you mean, dude? And there are many different types of solitary wasp. From, I don't know. I'm thinking that for the mud daubers, mainly what they're doing, in some cases, the nest is going to be a series of egg chambers. That may or may not look something like that, where there's chambers that they seal up. The mud does dry, but there would be air trapped in the mud. Not in the mud, but in that cell. A lot of these guys are also hunters. Some of them will use mud. Others will just seal them up in the ground. But like a Pepsis wasp, a cicada killer wasp, the blue-winged wasp that we're going to be talking about later tonight, those are solitary wasp. Mud daubers are solitary wasp. And I think there's even leaf cutter bees that do the same thing. And then they just make a petition and seal up the larva. You may even see some of these guys around. I have seen wasp in my area bringing back caterpillars, spiders that are paralyzed. None of these guys are going to flat out kill their prey. They're going to sting it, paralyze it, and seal it up. Yes, the mud dries. Otherwise, it wouldn't really serve the purpose of sealing it up. Guys, if you're going to vote down below, make sure you're also giving me a like. Have I answered everybody's questions? I do have the video, the script written for the red-eared slider. We're going to do it as an invasive. I'm hoping I've included everything that needs to be included with that. Next up, so let me go through that. For the upcoming videos, we have red-eared slider, buckeyes, mermaids as a cryptid, horsehair worm, Swanee Mexican shell, Swanee River, and karst. Or cursed. I think it's karst. As a reminder, I go live Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm already working on September's lives. And this is what I have so far. No. Well, it depends, Carry Me Through. It depends. So, as of right now, this is what is coming up in September. Sem Pidok, snake fruit as exotic foods. September 1st, Dead Man's Finger and Monkey Orange. September 4th, Learn to Care, Slender-Snouted Crocodile, Siamese Crocodile, Yellow-Spotted Tree Frog, later that day, and Rab's Fringe-Limbed Tree Frog. September 5th is going to be long ago, and we are revisiting ancient crocodiles, including, and I'm going to mess this name up, Deinosuchus. You know what? I'm just going to post the names. Maybe I covered Chernobyl. So that's coming up in September. And then also coming up in September, when I'm covering 2 ancient species of salamander. Gosh darn it, I'm in the wrong place. We're also going to be looking at 2 separate species of salamander. These are big salamanders. And then we have a zoo to do, Riverbank Zoo and Garden, and the Wellington Zoo from New Zealand. So that is partial. Also, I think I have an answer for a suggestion from Mr. Fan. If you want to either submit a script for the channel, I think you can do that if I share. So listen, so you understand how I think this can work. I have several lives set up. I have several documents set up for either the spooky channel or for the nature channel. I can set up people up with a shared entry. With the understanding that you keep in mind YouTube. Because I don't want to have to deal with an issue because of your script. Okay? I think I can do that. I will have a page I think I'm going to call it subscriber something. And if you're interested in doing it, I will announce it on both channels. But you either need to have Facebook or you need to figure out a way of getting to me. I don't know how to do it safely, but somehow you have to get me your email address. And you have to be over the age of 18 in order to submit. Your email or the script? I don't think there's enough room for you to do it on the community page. You can try. You can try. Yeah. And then once I've received it, you can delete it. Or whatever. But there's no way. How are you going to give it to me? Via Zoom. Can you send files via Zoom? If you have Google Docs, I don't think it's smiled upon. In here, I don't think you can. No, you're not going to be able to do emails in chat. It's not going to let you do emails or phone numbers in chat. I think, don't hold me to this, but I hit the wrong thing. Oh, excuse me. This is what my page looks like for me. If you go to where it says more and you click on that, and I think if you scroll down on that or scroll up on that, maybe not. I think there is an email listed. Yeah. So if you do want to reach out, yeah, you can access my email. You can email me, but you need to put into it, in the subject, you need to put in your your YouTube name in the subject header, or I'm not going to open it. Understand? If your YouTube name is not in that email that you send, I'm not opening it. You must be over the age of 18 in order to do that. Hi, Fireball of War 13. Hey, I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, but I wouldn't do it that way. My email's on there. And I do check my messages. That reminds me, I need to make a couple phone calls. Yeah, that's why just send me, if you're interested, nature fan, send me an email. Um, put your name in the subject so I know that it's you. And I will put you in on a you have to have either you put your story into the email directly, or if you can't do that, send me your email and I will put it in. You have to have Google Docs, and I can put you in as an editor. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, guys, we're over. I'm gonna wait just a few minutes and then I need to go eat. Waiting to hear. I need to check my mom's phone. Gosh darn it. I definitely. Oh, shoot. Also, before I forget, March 5th, there will not be a live at 1 p.m. So, no live on March 5th. That's a Thursday. Or wait, no live on Thursday, March 5th on the Wildlife Replica World channel. And I am canceling, as of right now, the live on March 6th at 1 p.m. Because I found out that they want to do. Hi, Issa. They want to do multiple pulls from my teeth, multiple extractions beyond the scope of what they said they were going to do. So I'm canceling the 1 p.m. live. Basically because, well, no, I won't. I'll see how I feel. There will be some other dates that will be canceled. I will post those, but mainly those are going to be, guys, we have 6 people in live and only 4 likes. Um, There are now. Thank you. Um, I don't know. There are gonna. I can't unless there's an issue. I don't see it being said. It's not showing up. So yeah, but he's saying that there's stuff being said, but it's not popping up. So if I don't see it, I can't act on it. I don't know. Let's see. And I don't have anything showing up in the comments section. Bumblebees are cool. Not super, super scary. I'm waiting on Nature Fan. I oh, I was just waiting for you to come back. I don't have anything else. So I am going to say goodbye. Have a great week. Fireball of War 13, I honestly don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. I'm sorry. Thank you for the likes. Thank you everybody for coming in. I will be back at 6 p.m. when we do some wasp species. So stick around for that at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I will see you guys later.